Truth, lies, shenanigans. 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 Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans. Shenanigans. Truth, lies, 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 shenanigans.
Hey friends, this is Truth Lies Shenanigans, the live show for Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. My name is Neo, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our deep, fun, and crazy show. Let me introduce you to my co-host for this afternoon. Opposite me, the great debater, Miss Lizzie.
What's up? What's up? How many humps have y'all gotten in today?
Uh,
I haven't gotten in any, so I'm cranky. I have a headache, so bear with me, please.
and in the window below me, our friendly northern neighbor, Mr. Rob B.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Liz, I hope your hump day gets better. I really do.
It won't. At
COVID
least,
times,
at least not as far as humping is concerned. Maybe, some
COVID days. All right, for today's show, all hot topics, and we have some good ones today. I'll be talking Fauci versus Trump and bringing the big guns with immunologist and research scientist Dr. Maria Lopez Ocasio. Lizzie will tell us why 50 Cent ain't worth a dime. And Rob B will tell us all about Jeffrey Toobin, Zoomin and Loobin.
whoop, whoop.
Don't forget, we are live everywhere. Our streams are on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter at TLS Live Show. And you can also watch us at truthlieshenanigans.com. Yeah, Lizzie needs some tweets. Tweet
I'm
Lizzie.
lonely. Sweet.
All right, and make sure you invite your friends and watch along with us live. And of course, we'll always want your comments and questions to be part of the show. And for today's show, we have our production assistant, Gianni. Hey, Gianni.
Girl.
Gianni will be popping in throughout the show to read your comments and questions to the panel. So, Gianni, you all set for your first show? Oh, let's get. It sounds like you're muted, Gianni.
I'm ready, and I said I'm ready, and I'm really excited to read some comments.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. We'll be looking for you online. We'll bring you back shortly, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. All right, so if you miss any of our live shows, you can also listen to previous episodes on iTunes and Spotify. And you can even ask Google, Alexa, or Siri to simply play the Truth Lies Shenanigans podcast. All right, I'm going to start things off real quick with a quick fire question for you guys. These are always fun, always fun. All right. So I just want your initial reactions, just quick reactions. Just tell me what you think. So last episode of Bachelorette, I don't know if you guys watch Bachelorette, but Claire made guys play strip dodgeball.
You say you want a man with some balls? Let's go.
And actually made them get naked. There was tons of backlash calling double standard for women, and one of the dudes actually refused. So let me ask you, if you were asked, would you strip naked? Robbie?
So in the context of The Bachelorette,
Yeah.
oh God, no, absolutely not. That was just that was exploitative behavior on her part, and you could see, nope.
Lizzie?
Again, hell no. This beautiful body is not for community consumption. No, it takes a lot to get a woof at this. So no.
I'm gonna say no damn way, not even worth it. Clearly we know what she wants though. Guaranteed the dude that refused ain't getting a rose pretty soon.
I mean, do I give a spoiler here? Because I don't watch The Bachelorette, but I follow up with the pop culture news. Do I give a spoiler, or do I?
Go ahead.
Spoil it.
She leaves the show. She fell in love with someone on the show after the first 2 weeks. She leaves the show and is replaced by a black girl.
What? Wow. Actually, I didn't know all that.
Oh, yeah.
So when did that happen?
Well,
it was love at first sight after the dodgeball game.
Yeah. She saw what she wanted. She liked it. And was like,
Clearly we know what she wanted.
I don't need any more. I want that one right there.
Do we know if it was actually one of the guys that stripped?
I don't know. They're very secretive about all of that stuff. So I don't know which one it was. But I mean, I can't imagine it was one of the ones that kept their clothes on, right? unless she's a virgin and she's just like, okay, I admire your chastity. So, but I think we saw a little something in the vein of Jeffrey Toobin. It was like, yeah, I like that one.
All right. So let me tell you, our viewers, what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans is all about. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out the lies and pointing out those ridiculous shenanigans going on, similar to The Bachelorette. But most importantly, on this show, we try to have fun with shenanigans of our own. But we do have one rule, and one rule for the hosts. There's no cussing. If you're caught cussing, there's a $10 penalty. If you guys are caught cussing 3 times in the same show, you will be sending a love letter to Dear Trump.
He wrote me beautiful letters.
I have to point out, I actually failed to update Lizzie's score.
Whatever. Where is Gianni? Where is Gianni? He cheated
We can bring Gianni. Where's Gianni? Gianni's right here.
You see this cheating? There are no carryovers. If you didn't do it in the last show, it does not count. No carryovers.
Let's go to tape. Let's go to the tape.
Actually, I went back to the tape, and she actually cussed 3 times in the same show, but we didn't catch her.
There were some quotes there.
No, I went back. There was a couple of times. You did a couple of MFs at the end. We'll get there. We'll get this updated, though. We'll definitely get this updated. But all right. So, packed show. Let's get right into our hot topics.
Truth, lies, shenanigans.
This is the way hot topics works. One of our hosts will start us out, and they'll let you know if their topic is a truth, a lie, or shenanigans. They'll tell us what's going on in the world, then we'll talk about it until we see our friend Gingy.
Hey, Gingy, what's up?
Gingy will let us know time is up, and then we'll bring in Gianni to share your questions and comments, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So make sure you're talking to us online. Once we're done, we'll go on to the next host and their topic. All right? So, Gianni, you still there? All right, good. She's still there. All right. We'll see you in a bit, Gianni. All right, so I'm going to start things out today. And this is Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans. This is definitely all of them. This is Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans. I'm talking about the war between Trump and Fauci. And I brought in a special guest, like I said, the big guns to join in the discussion.
Hi, guys.
Dr. Maria Ocasio-Lopez. Welcome.
To the show again.
Welcome back to the show. Now, Dr. Lopez is a research scientist and immunologist who has worked at NIH and at Dr. Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Some of you will remember she joined us early in the pandemic on episode 5, where she answered your questions on COVID-19 at a time when things were really, really crazy, really uncertain. So we do appreciate that, and a lot of people tuned in for that. So it was a great discussion.
Welcome back. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Welcome back. All right. So she'll actually be a guest host today for this segment. So no interviews for you. All right. So a reminder to our audience, like with all of our hosts, the information and opinions she is sharing today are her own, and she is not representing any organization here today. All right?
Yes,
All right,
that's
so I'm just gonna...
I have no hidden agenda whatsoever. This is what I think. And, you know, we always have to listen to the science. So
That is what that's what we think too.
Yep, listen to the
That's what we
science.
think too.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. Dr. Fauci, the leading expert in infectious diseases, has become increasingly critical of Donald Trump over the last few weeks. It's been contentious for some time, mostly because of Trump's ego that Fauci is far more trusted and liked than he is. But this recent feud seems to have started when Trump openly criticized Fauci on the debate stage and was exacerbated by a 60 Minutes interview, causing a back and forth of words.
Dr. Fauci said the opposite.
I want to ask you, we got
very
more than a
strongly,
minute left in this
masks
segment.
are not good. Then he changed his mind. He said masks good. I'm
wanna
okay with masks.
Contrary to what we thought, masks really do work in preventing infection.
No doubt.
So no doubt.
So when you find out you were wrong, you don't double down.
No, when you find out you're wrong, it's a manifestation of your honesty to say, hey, I was wrong. I did subsequent experiments, and now it's this way.
Did he just call him dishonest? Okay. Then Trump's campaign campaign used Fauci in one of their campaign ads completely out of context, and still refused to actually stop airing it. This seemingly infuriated Fauci, who immediately corrected the use of the ad and seems to have led his candidness in the 60 minutes interview.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
I do not, and nor will I ever publicly endorse any political candidate. And here I am, they sticking me right in the middle. And I was referring to the grueling work of the task force. Quite frankly, I got really ticked off.
Notice all the edits. Notice all the edits there, the cuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, I think he should be pissed. But now the kicker was for Donald Trump when Fauci talked about him getting COVID. And I am saying Donald Trump, by the way. I just want to make sure this is not.
Nah, you saying Trump.
I'm saying Trump. I'm saying Trump. And Fauci talked about him getting COVID, which led to Trump retaliating.
Were you surprised that President Trump got sick?
Absolutely not. When I saw that on TV, I said, oh my goodness, nothing good can come out of that. That's got to be a problem. And then sure enough, it turned out to be a super spreader event.
People are tired of hearing Fauci and all these idiots. Every time he goes on television, there's always a bomb, but there's a bigger bomb if you fire him.
He also called him a disaster in that phone call. But when Donald Trump was asked why he was criticizing Fauci, here's what he had to say. And Fauci had a very good response on a local radio station.
Dr. Fauci's a very nice man, and he loves being on television, and we let him do it. But he's called a lot of bad calls. He said, don't wear a mask, and he said, don't ban China. He's been there for about 350 years. I don't want to hurt him.
Well, you know, it depends if you take it personally. I focus totally on the health and the welfare of the people of this country. That's what I've devoted 50 years of my career towards, 36 of which were as the director of this institute. That's the only thing I really care about. That other stuff, you know, it's like in The Godfather, nothing personal, strictly business. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I just want to do my job and take care of the people of this country.
Yeah. That's right. So my question to you guys, who's winning this battle so far? Robbie?
I would send it to Dr. Lopez. Or send it to Maria first.
Okay.
Dr. Lopez.
Dr. Lopez, who's winning this battle?
So I have to say that I do admire Fauci because he have, you know, like really show publicly what a professional person looks like. Yeah. Like he hasn't taken it personally since day one, and it's not the first, you know, insult that he has said publicly to him. And the other thing that I want to say, and it's really important because, you know, people have these ideas in their heads of, you know, what science should look like and what scientists really are. We are human beings like anyone else, and we are not perfect. And we go with the science as it evolves. And in the beginning, no one knew it was actually, you know, spreading. Right. So that's because the masks that health workers use, the N95, were limited with like, you know, people should not wear masks because we have very little, you know, evidence. You know, this started in late December, you know, and it evolved here towards late February, early March into the US. So we have very little information. So what do you do with very little information? Who do you protect? The people that is supposed to protect us? You know, or the rest. So they went with no wearing masks because they had no evidence of it. And as soon as they started seeing evidence that masks were actually working, they switched and people were pissed. I was like, oh, now they're changing their minds. I was like, well, science works like that. You know, you go as you see changes in the data. You know, it's not like, you know, and there's many examples of it, you know, in the literature, in different aspects of science, of how things have evolved and how things have changed. So we cannot stick with what we saw, you know, in January and February because we are almost in November and things have changed rapidly. And you also have to think like most of the time we're thinking on our feet because this whole situation is evolving, you know, every single day, every single minute as we speak. So, you know, I do admire how, yeah.
Who do you have winning the battle?
Fauci, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, Fauci hasn't tested positive yet. So of course he's winning.
You're right. that he wins the battle just there.
Yep.
Robbie, who do you have winning?
Fact over fiction any given day. So Fauci's winning the fight there. If there's anyone that's actually losing the fight, it's the American people that are getting caught up in the constant misinformation that's being disseminated by the POTUS.
Great point.
I agree.
So remember our last show on Sunday, our quick fire question was, where is Melania Trump? And then we talked about how she actually made an appearance, made a statement saying that she was getting better, but she acknowledged that Barron, their son, also had tested positive at one point. But a couple of days after that, she was supposed to appear with Trump last night at a rally. And then word came out that she wasn't going to appear because she was still suffering COVID symptoms. So that in itself suggests, one, that we ain't ever going to see Melania in the near future. But two, that this is not over. This is real. As a result of their carelessness and not listening to Dr. Fauci, not listening to the experts, and not listening to their prompts to wear masks, that she's suffering. And remember, Trump has yet to mention her. Trump has yet to give an update on how she's doing or how Barron is doing. So Dr. Fauci, say what you want, but all of the experts, they're being proven right. And I agree with Dr. Lopez. You have to think of it like a weatherman. The weather is constantly changing, whereas the viewers expect the weathermen and women to be experts and to have it down to an exact science. A constantly moving virus, a constantly moving storm is no exact science. You have to go with it as it moves. And that is how this is working.
Dr. Lopez, do you know Fauci personally?
I actually know him. Yeah, I met him when I came to interview in 2013. I actually took a picture with him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he goes with with the science and with the data.
Yeah.
That he's not gonna make things up. So as a scientist, when I in my early stage, as a scientist, I remember my mentors always telling me, like, you have to be very literal. You cannot leave any room for speculation or anything. And I think people have kind of like a trouble with that. No, we have to tell you what we are seeing. And the data, it's very clear. Mask actually works. And I sent Neo an article that actually summed up all the observations and different publications that happened things spring all the way to August on how masks actually were effectively. And the first example that we saw here in U.S. territory was when we saw these two hairstylists in Missouri that came down positive in June with COVID-19. And yes, they passed it on to their family because, in their household, obviously you're, breathing the air and you're sharing. They actually didn't infect it. They went to work infected without knowing it. And they didn't infect none of their customers just because they were wearing double face masks. And when the customers were tested, they came back negative. And another example of it is like Black Lives Matter protest. We saw very little spike, in COVID-19 cases in the bigger cities because if you saw, people were wearing their masks. Yes, so they reduced the social distancing, but still they were wearing their mask.
And
then they compared.
It's true that the masks are more to protect others than it is to protect yourself, right?
Yes, but if everyone wears it, then everyone is protected. So it's kind of like, when in a population where you have 70 to 80% of the people vaccinated against a particular, agent, then it's like you're protecting the people that are not vaccinated. So that work in kind of like the same scenario. You wear it, I wear it, then we're protecting each other, The
reason I'm asking, because there's like all these, people who walk into all the businesses. We saw a Starbucks lady talking about F Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. You can see our Facebook page to see that video. But there's these people who walk in who are putting others at risk. So if, for example, they walk in and they say, "Hey, even if I'm wearing a mask, if the other person's not, they're putting me at risk.
Yep.
Right?
So masks work in at least 3 different ways. So the first one is that you're protecting others. So you're protecting transmitting the virus if you are actually carrying it. You are protecting yourself, from getting it, but also you're reducing, like if you ever get it by wearing face masks, you're actually reducing the severity of the disease. And in the article that I sent you, Neil, there's all these references to all of these articles with all of this data. It's actually pretty clear. So wear a mask. So the mask also works, like, for example, it protects you from touching your face. Because if you touch your face, you're wearing your mask. So you're actually not inoculating yourself. And this is thinking that you're wearing your mask properly, not covering your mouth, but your nose. It's really, really important that you cover your nose.
I think what happens is a lot of people aren't aware of the liquids, of the secretions that they emit from their bodies on a regular basis. They don't understand. Like I'm talking right now, and I can see like liquid coming from my mouth onto my computer screen.
I was feeling it. I was feeling it, Lizzie.
Because it would be much stronger than that. But they don't understand like what comes out of their nose, not intentionally, but what comes out of their nose, what comes out of their mouth throughout the day. And like, Dr. Lopez said, like Neo said, if you have a mask on, that prevents that from getting onto other people. But most don't understand that. They think it's just like, something that that the government is trying to do intentionally to, put down their rights, to, quarantine their rights, if you will, pun intended with the quarantine. But yeah, wear your mask, wear it. It's so non-invasive. Just wear the mask.
But when we brought you on last time, we talked a little bit about herd immunity, right? And that's something that Trump has been touting. Well, he's not officially touting it, but the thing is, in the early days of the pandemic, no one had any idea like how to treat this thing, how it spread and things like that. But the whole idea was to get to a point where we could, have treatments, where we could understand, like, like for example, when we have what's that? Have you covalent? What is it? Covalent.
Convalescence plasma?
Yeah, convalescent plasma, right? So that's a treatment that didn't exist, but you can't even have that unless you have people who've been treated and survived COVID, Correct. And so,
very limited.
I mean, it's really frustrating that we have such a horrible leader who couldn't keep the deaths low long enough to get to this point where we have treatments where like a 70-year-old, 75-year-old man like Trump survives and gets over it in a week. It took a while to get to that point.
Did he really though? We don't know.
We don't know what he got. Anyway, I'm so through with Trump right now. This freaking battle between Trump and Fauci is ridiculous.
It just it really reinforces the fact that Donald Trump has shown a complete ignorance of the scientific method and how it works. There's no bad science. There's the science of the day, and it gets refined as new data becomes available. It may invalidate findings that you had initially, like, no, the masks aren't that important. Yes, he did say it at the beginning, and then the data was produced that clearly demonstrated that the masks were a benefit. But Trump has shown that type of willful ignorance time and time again throughout his administration. And unfortunately, it speaks to a lot of his supporters who just follow him blindly. I don't need to understand that. It just works. Or no, you can't tell me what to do. It really plays into his voter base.
What's worrisome too is the fact that, this is actually leading to people overall in the States to mistrust science, and that relationship that exists, it already was there. Some people do not trust, science or vaccination or cancer treatments or etc. And I think now, he put it in, in a situation that getting back to where we were is going to be really, really hard.
Especially when you do vaccines, because so do you deal with vaccines at all?
I don't.
You don't
personally.
But you know people who are developing vaccines and things like that. Yeah. So do we know if the vaccines are going to be safe if it goes through all the trials?
Well, that's the whole idea of the trials, is not to only test safety first, but also efficacy. But in order to be approved, any of them, you have to see at least 50% protection in order to the FDA grants the emergency use authorization.
But there's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration about vaccines. People think, when they hear vaccines, that it's a perfect be all end all. And that if you get the vaccine, that no one can be allergic, that no one is going to have an adverse reaction, that it's just going to be, everything's going to be hunky-dory and we're going to move on. That's not the case with any medication.
With any medication.
Right. There are people that are allergic to aspirin, that are allergic to penicillin. Like, it's not a foolproof system. It's a system that would cover, if it's effective, would cover the majority. But yes, there's still going to be people that it is ineffective for or to, and people who can't take it. But we're talking about the majority here. Like, you just don't throw a vaccine in the trash because it is good for 90% of the population, but 10% can't take it. Well, that's not how things work. Yeah. That's not how things work.
Vaccines only to help reduce the death rate. I mean, like, for example, back when Dr. Lopez was on here, that was April, I think, April 19th, I think it was, or somewhere around there. And, at that time, I think the death rate was about, 6% or something like that. But again, that was prior to treatments, of course, testing. So there wasn't widespread testing at the time. But now it's still at about a 0.5%, 0.67, something around there. Which is still higher than the flu, 5-6 times higher than the flu. So it's just a matter of the vaccines, the treatments, and everything else are all just part of, getting to a point where we can survive and live with this illness. Eventually, we'll get to the point where it'll be like the flu. We'll get a point where it'll be. Am I right, Dr. Lopez? At some point, we could get to where it's close to the flu in terms of, I'm just talking death rate. Because at some point we'll have enough treatments, enough vaccine, assuming the vaccines work.
It's funny that we're discussing the vaccines. Funny, not funny, because just prior to the show, the press was reporting on Big Pharma AstraZeneca. One of their trial subjects for the vaccine in Brazil actually died from trying the vaccine. So it still has to go through all of its trial stages. We have to really work out the kinks. And like you said, it may harm a small segment of the population, but benefit the greater good of the species. So, and that's usually the unfortunate reality of it. And we're just going to have to get behind the science and respect that treating the greater good is beneficial to the species. And it's unfortunate there are some that will suffer adverse effects, and we'll do what we can to help them. But for the benefit of the species, we need to get these vaccines.
And that's how science and medicine works. Like, people, it's a harsh reality, but that's how life works. That's how medicine works. There's nothing that is 100% foolproof. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
Before Ginger comes in, I want to go ahead and bring Gianni in. I see some great questions online. Hey, Gianni, what you got for us?
Okay, Neo, we have some comments here. For Dr. Lopez, Rebecca asks, your rough guess, how many years until we get back to normal? No mask, no social distancing, etc. Just a guess.
Just a guess? Maybe 2022.
Without social distancing and stuff?
Yes, because you have to imagine we need the vaccine first, right? So in order for people to feel that type of protection and start going out, and it's going to be in waves. Not everyone's going to get it at once. Like health workers, essential employees, daycare people, and kids might get it first, and then the rest.
So you're talking herd immunity. That's basically herd immunity. Go ahead.
Dr. Lopez, I thought you were saying 22 years.
I thought she was too. She wasn't?
2022.
Oh, by the year 2022.
By the year
Yeah.
2022.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
22
Yeah.
years from now.
All right. Any other comments, Johnny?
Yes, there was another comment from Mike Wolf. He said, people are not aware of the liquids and secretions coming out of their bodies, Mr. Toobin.
Oh my!
For those that don't know what happened with Toobin, you need to stay for the rest of the hot topics.
That's why I had a laughing fit earlier, because I saw that comment and I'm like, oh, snap.
For the last comment, we have Mike Winter. He said, protesters are wearing masks. MAGA rally attendees are not. Rest in peace, Herman Cain.
True.
And again, Donald Trump has yet to acknowledge that after he died initially, Donald Trump has not talked about him, has not talked about the fact that he was at his rally without a mask. Even at the first debate was like, oh, it's no big deal. I haven't had any casualties at my rallies because of no mask. And everyone on Twitter was like, hello, Herman Cain. Hello, the black man died. Hello.
All right, Dr. Lopez, I'm going to give you the last word. Anything you want to say?
Just, trust the science, wear a mask, keep your distance, wash your hands, until the whole things change and start getting normalized. So normal, I'm not sure what's going to look the new normal, but here's to hoping.
All right. Well,
And
thank you
remember that this happened 100 years ago when we had no technology, no nothing. And it was also, a long one. So it didn't took a whole 1 year. It took over a year for things to normalize. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do thank you for joining us. We'll have you back.
thank you guys for having me. Have a good night.
Thanks for joining
have a
us,
great
Maria.
night. All right.
Bye, Dr. Lopez.
All right.
Let me just say, I wear my mask for a very long time. A very long time. And if, Howard University has not, made it clear whether or not we're going back to in-class, in-person instruction in the spring, come January. But if we are, I am going to be fully masked ninja up. Like, they're not even going to recognize me, those students. Like, I'm going to be wrapped up. I don't try. It's too soon.
It's It's dangerous. I mean, my wife has the fitness studio, Posh Cycling and Fitness. Don't forget, College Park, Posh Cycling and Fitness. You guys should check it out, posh.fit. Okay. But with the studio, people are scared to come inside. I mean, we do the social distancing. We have all the protocols, and we actually have use UV lights in between classes to make sure that we're killing the right. And
Smart.
People are still scared to come. People are just scared. So it's going to be a little while, I think. All right. Let's get on to the next hot topic. That one is going. That one's going to Liz E. Liz E, is this a truth, lie, or shenanigan?
It's true. Again, I get both the truth, but a whole lot of shenanigans.
Whole lot of shenanigans.
So, our rappers, particularly our Black rappers, this year have really been disappointing some of us as it relates to Trump. These
not
wayward
Eminem.
rappers.
Eminem's not Macklemore. He's not disappointing you.
He could never. He's not on my radar. Like, he's a faker. He is someone who has used the N-word to refer to Black women. So no, I don't acknowledge him at all. But back to the subject at hand. The rappers, over the past year or so, they've kind of been disappointing those on the left. So we first had Kanye and his nonsense. And then in the last segment, we talked about Ice Cube and how Ice Cube has, they were using Ice Cube, Sunday's show. And now we have 50 Cent, or 50 Cent, as those of us who are more eloquent like to say, but 50. So he came out, I believe a couple of days ago, and said that he is calling on followers to vote for Donald Trump because he doesn't want the Biden tax bill to affect his coins. So the Biden tax bill, according to Fitty, alleges that if you make over $400,000 a year, you should be taxed 62% of your income. And so Fitty is like, yeah, nope, can't do that. Okay. And he quote unquote said, I don't care if Donald Trump doesn't like Black people.
He said that.
I'm not giving up 62% of my income. So the question to the panel and to our viewers out there, to Miss Gianni, are you buying what 50 is trying to sell with his 2 quarters?
I'm gonna let Rob B start it off. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is another very rich person, a very well-to-do person, who has made their money off of the backs of every other hardworking person in North America. It's not the people who are making 400,000 plus that are buying his albums, that are watching his movies, primarily. So he's made that money off of the backs of the working class people. So it's really a slap in the face to think that, sure, you can profit, you can gain from our hard work, and we'll float the tax bill, but when it's time to pay your fair share of that money to redistribute the wealth, that's shenanigans. I have a really hard time with that. So he's really just out to protect the ultra-rich and his own money, and he doesn't really care about any other agenda. It's just about the coin. That's sell out, sell out, sell out.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with that. So I think 50 Cent's a fool. Like, he's just like his friend Ice Cube, but he's being selfish here. So this is about wealth, and he's looking out for himself. Trump's tax plan protects wealthy people's wealth. That's what Trump's plan does. While the middle class picks up the bill. Plus, 50 Cent already had to file bankruptcy due to a combination of like a lawsuit on revenge porn and tax violation. And I think that was in 2015.
And trying not to pay child support.
And child support. Yep, that was the other one. So he doesn't want to have to pay taxes, And the fact that he actually said, I don't care about Black, if Trump doesn't like Black people. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know about 50 Cent. I mean, if I were a follower, I would immediately unfollow, and everyone should. Another thing he said, I don't want to be 20 Cent. This is a quote. I don't want to be called 20 Cent. because of the tax plan. That's how much he's going to be taxed.
Funny. That's funny.
I refuse to give him a point for that. Principle. Principle. Give him a point for that.
He's a fool.
Just for the viewers, so people often ask me, because I've been very adamant about the fact 50, I think he is both an actor and a producer and a director.
He's making good money.
Of the show Power on BET. I do not watch Power. I do not touch anything that has to do with 50 Cent. Nothing. He will not get my attention. I'm a believer of cancel culture in a personal sense, in that if I'm not down for you, if you offend me, I don't give you any of my time. This is a man who constantly shames and mocks Black women.
He does.
Go to Twitter. You can find it. This is a man who constantly shames and mocks and wishes his own son ill will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true too.
So if you have the tweet, Leo?
I don't have the tweet.
So he tweeted, I'm going to say in 2018, I might have the year a little bit off, but he tweeted something in 2018. He's pissed off at his oldest son because that son's mother took him to court for child support. And, the little boy being caught in the middle, living with his mother, most of the time, kind of sided with his mother after 50 was constantly talking ill about her in the press. And that's not to say that this woman is a perfect woman. I'm not assigning that to her at all. But the fact that he then, in subsequent years, has dogged him on Twitter, on his Instagram platform, tweeting out something that 2 years ago that said he wouldn't mind if his son got run over by a bus.
Yep.
So y'all really gonna take political advice from someone like that? Are you kidding me right now? Like, stand down and think about your personal situation. You do not have 50's bank account. You do not have his privilege of being to get all of these exemptions like Donald Trump, or being able to avoid paying certain taxes like Donald Trump. The IRS, if we do what Donald Trump did, in the fact that he's done all of this tax avoidance, that he has paid in certain years either no tax or only $750 of tax, but paying more tax than foreign countries. If we did that as the common man, we would be in jail. We'll be in. I've been audited twice for some BS.
Oh, really?
Not gonna curse.
I've never been.
Oh yeah, I've been audited twice for some BS, for some absolute BS. But that's what happens to the common man. Whereas if you make millions and millions of dollars, you can kind of work your way around it. So that 50 and Ice Cube and Trump, they're not talking to you, the average person in your bank account. They're talking about their wealth.
Yep.
And their wealth.
He doesn't care about his followers and his community. It's about getting his community and followers to do what's right for him. He doesn't care about anyone else but 50. So. All right, I'm going to bring I'm bringing Gianni in. Gianni.
Deja, y'all. We call her Deja.
Gianni.
Hey, guys. Okay. So there are some comments. The comment section is booming, but I'm going to read off a couple comments right now.
What we got?
We have Jacqueline Robinson. She said, I'm sick of the hostility toward Black women, and they turn around and want us to support what they do.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Sylvie Savacue says, love you, Lizzie. Agree 100%.
Love you too, girl.
And then we have Marjorie Lorraine. She says, pay your taxes and support your kids.
Hey, Marge.
Not Dr. Marge?
It's Dr. Marge.
Dr. Marge says
that's very straightforward.
Yeah. Liana Zamora says, please vote in all caps.
That's my Lily. Hey, Liana.
Yeah, I see Maria's still online. She's talking about go vote as well.
And then we also have Mike Winter again, and he says, that is not the Biden tax bill. It is not 62% for those who earn over $400,000.
So what is it? What are we missing? I love that we get fact checked online. We'll have to give. Come on, we'll have to get Mike Winter to tell us. But yeah, so 50's off the chain.
Where did I go?
I just want to point out that 50's net worth is currently sitting at $30 million, which is a significant drop. At the peak of his career, his net worth was about 150 mil, but I'm nowhere near that $30 million mark, and I'm paying my taxes, right?
And one has to ask, what is 50's voting history? Is he a voter? I don't believe.
Probably not. He's probably like the rest of them.
Yeah, because Ice Cube said out of his own mouth, he's only paid attention to politics within the last year, which suggests that he has not been voting. So don't listen to these people who have not been a part of the democratic process, who have not been voting, who are in a completely different tax bracket than you.
Yep.
Go with me and Gingy, man. Vote towards your interests.
All right. Thank you, Gianni. We will see you at the end of the next hot topic. All right, guys. Let's see. We got a new hot topic from Rob B. This should be fun. All right, Rob B. What is this, a truth, lie, or shenanigans?
It's a sad truth, and it's definitely shenanigans. Absolute shenanigans. Yeah, if you want to throw up the image, Neo, this is just absolutely amazing. So Jeff Toobin was caught masturbating during a Zoom meeting. His team was having a meeting. They were discussing some election coverage. And
we see what you did there, Bob.
We heard it.
You're welcome. So yeah, and he he was engaged in the meeting, and then I guess he flipped his laptop lid down, which projected the camera down towards his lap, and then it was discovered that the man was quite nude and erect, and he walked away. Came back and flipped his laptop up and picked up the meeting like nothing ever happened. His apology is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm quoting, "I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake. Believing I was off camera, I apologized to my wife, family, friends, and coworkers. I believed I was not visible on Zoom. I thought no one on the Zoom call could see me. I thought I had muted the Zoom video." So it's just crazy. So I guess really my question to the panel is the apology enough for the staff to whom he exposed himself?
Oh, apology. I mean, honestly, how can you really apologize for that? I mean, it's like, it's one of those situations where there's like just no out. It's just done. There's nothing you can do, say anything. There's nothing you can do at this point. Yeah. No.
And it's funny that you say that, because his apology, he doesn't apologize for the act itself, because exactly, what can you say? What can you say? It just boggles the mind. And I guess really as a follow-up, he has been suspended from his job currently. He's been suspended. My follow-up question would be, should the penalties for sexual harassment or indecent exposure be implemented as they would if he decided to masturbate, say, I don't know, in the boardroom?
Yeah. I'll let you. Well, I was just going to say, I think absolutely. I think the Zoom meeting is an extension of his job. It's the same thing. If I were sitting at my desk at work and was caught masturbating, it's the same thing. So absolutely, it's
No, it's one better than that. It's if you were in a meeting room with people and you felt like, hey, I think I might be able to get away with this, and then people at the table making awkward eye contact and going, "What are you doing?"
I'm really curious what he was at. I'll let you speak, Liz. I'm sorry, but I'm really curious what he was masturbating to, or who he was masturbating to. Was it somebody on the screen?
And see, this is what I was trying to explain, because one of our former hosts, Reuven Gorin, and I had a little exchange earlier about this, about what actually was happening. And my initial point was, bruh, you had, even before this meeting, you had all morning to beat your meat.
I think I saw Reuven online.
Why did you need to wait until, it's not like, you have to use the bathroom. You have to go take a number 2, which is a natural reaction that honestly we can't control. But you can control needing to beat that meat. Like, dude, come on. And this is a meeting, like, you're in a business meeting. There are tons of people. So there were the people that were acknowledged, I believe they were like in New York City bigwigs within the New Yorker and CNN or whatever, but there was also an additional virtual audience. Mm-hmm. And so where the people in New York who he immediately works with, they saw him. They aren't sure what the virtual audience saw. But I think this is a fireable offense. Like, if I did that, I'm a professor. I am on Zoom every Monday through Friday. If I was sitting on Zoom masturbating, you think my university would not hesitate to fire me?
No question.
Like, why would I do that when my whole purpose is to be involved and engaged with that meeting, with those students, with teaching those students? That's what I'm being paid to do. He was being paid to represent himself in that meeting. And the apology to which Rob spoke to, it was a non-apology. Like, he didn't apologize for being like skeevy in that particular situation. He just apologized because he thought he turned the audio and the video off. No, bruh, even if it had been off, you are not allowed to turn your stuff off so you can go and beat your meat. No.
She keeps saying beat your meat.
You're supposed to be paying attention to the meeting. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
What are your thoughts, Rob B? What are your thoughts?
Oh my God, this was just.
I'm curious. Before I'm curious if there's any funny Zoom meeting memories that anyone has online. Post them in the comments. We're going to read them.
Yes, please. I was about to ask people. Please share your Zoom meeting mishaps. Anything that's propped up. I haven't had anything as egregious as this. I've definitely had some coworkers, teenage and older than teenage sons, walk into the background sans shirt, getting up in the morning, getting breakfast while we're having a team meeting, just kind of going, "Hey, you got a half naked dude in the background." So you just kind of go, "No, okay, whatever." I've had kids come and say ridiculous things in somebody's room, and I think that's amusing as heck. But this masturbation thing, that's just skeezy, and that's a fireable offense. There should be criminal action for indecent exposure, lewd conduct, and whoever the coworkers were there. There's absolutely some harassment or damages charges there. That's a suspension is a joke.
I was watching.
Go ahead, Nia.
Okay, I was saying I was watching. I watch other talk shows for stuff for information and to learn some new things. I was watching The Real, right? And The Real, what? Why are you looking at me like that? So I was watching The Real, and they had a guest on their show. And in the background, all of a sudden, this half-naked guy starts just walking behind her.
You have that video.
I'll have the video.
We have a video of a mom who
I have
did
it.
that during class.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because school ended.
Close your eyes, people.
David Turner.
Get a boy sleep.
David. Oh my God, who was that back there naked?
Oh man, that's crazy. I mean, the mama just walk up into the Zoom meeting butt naked.
But see, those are people, and that's an example of people in the background who may not be aware that the people on camera can see them.
Right.
Jeff knew the camera was on him.
That's true.
I forgot to turn my stuff off. I mean, again, I'm on Zoom almost every day, several hours throughout the day. A few weeks ago, I had to tell a student who didn't have the porn in the background on the first day of class, on the first week of class, and then all of a sudden he shows up into our Zoom class, and there is TNA in the background.
What's TNA? Like, what's TNA?
You know what it is. Look it up. And I'm in the chat like, if you don't turn your camera off and take that down, you're going to fail my class right now. Unacceptable. Gingy knows.
Gingy knows.
Word to Liz. Well done.
Because we the prompt was for this particular segment to ask about Zoom mishaps and crazy Zooms, whatever. Back in the spring, when everyone first went to this, virtual learning, virtual working, Zoom every day, whatever, virtual device you use, I would say my second virtual class with my students. And so we were all new at this. This one kid in my class comes into class and he has his camera on. So there were two different incidents. One kid comes into class, wakes up in bed, half naked, with a bonnet on his head. And I'm just like, okay, can you
I just want to point out, Lizzie wanted to make sure you guys knew what a bonnet was.
Bonnet on his head. He had the whole mask on his face, in bed, no clothes on. I'm like, okay, sweetie, you need to turn your camera off, and you are allowed to have your camera off for the duration of this class. But then over the summer, I had a student who was fine for the majority of my classes over the summer, and then one Zoom class, he decided that he was going to try to bite his toenails during the class. Ow. Like he's literally in the background with his foot up to his face, and I'm like, in the chat, okay, I don't know what's going on over there.
That's some flexibility.
Can you? Yeah, okay. So that's what you do for flexibility?
I can't do it. I can barely.
I think we need to have a foot challenge now.
I know, right? Let's see. Come on, you try, Robin. Oh, well, you almost cut it up there.
First of all, I can get my leg up there, but I'm not putting it up there during.
I can't even come close to any of that. So, all right, let's bring Gianni in for some comments online. Gianni, what we got going on online?
Okay, so the comments that are happening right now, we have Monica Alicia, and she says, folks, what we have here is an actual bonnet in an unnatural habitat.
Hold that bonnet again. What else you got?
Natural. It was pretty unnatural.
Speaking of the toenail story that Lizzie mentioned, Jacqueline Robinson said, ew, toenails. Also, the comments are going fast. Sorry. Paulette Bertrand says, gross. Raven Gorin says, Pornhub would probably have the footage of the meeting that was being recorded.
Oh, wow. So, Ruben, you're going to find it for us? You're going to find it for us? Send it to Lizzie.
And I think that's probably why he was suspended right away, because a lot, especially the professional Zoom sessions, are recorded.
That's true.
All of my Zoom class sessions are recorded. So be careful out there, folks. Be careful out there, folks.
Yep. Any other comments? Any other great comments going on?
Yeah, we have we have Monica Alicia again. She said if he needed to get off that bad, he should have just logged in late. Just nasty.
Yeah, that is nasty. It is nasty. All right. So that's it for that hot topic. Thanks again, Gianni. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks, Johnny.
A much needed laugh for the day for me. Thank you, Rob.
That was a good laugh.
I wish I could take credit for it. That was, I can't remember the last time I pulled a boner like that.
What? That's a good one. Robbie's got the jokes today.
Lies, shenanigans.
All right, that's it for hot topics. So let's go ahead and get into our game. That was a fun hot topic.
I gave myself the giggles.
All right. So for today's game, we're going to play Would You Rather. On screen, we'll show you two options, and I'll ask, would you rather this or would you rather that? The app has predetermined the most popular answer, and whoever matches the most popular answer gets a point. Person with the most points at the end of the game wins and gets the final word for the day. And we're going to bring Gianni back to keep our score. All right.
To keep it honest, Liz. To keep it honest.
Yeah,
Just for Lizzie.
I'm going to keep it fair.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All right. So ready? All right. I'm going to read them off. First one. Would you rather sleep 2 hours every day or sleep 20 hours every day? Oh, because I guess you only have 4 hours left for your day. I'm going with 2 hours.
I mean, I already average like 3, so I'm going to go with 2 hours. It's not a big transition.
I mean, I want to experience life. That's all it is. I mean, Robbie?
Right? Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, I don't want to miss out on 20 hours a day.
Let's get Gianni's answer while she's here. You going 2 hours or 20 hours?
I would say 2 hours.
2 hours.
I want to live this life to the fullest.
All right, so 2 hours wins. Everybody gets a point. You got the score for me, right, Gianni?
Yeah, Lizzie wins.
Lizzie's not going to win. All right. So, would you rather wake up in the middle of an unknown desert or wake up in a rowboat in the middle of a big unknown body of water?
Rowboat.
I'm rowboating.
Rowboat.
Deserts are hot. Nope, rowboats.
Gianni, what you doing? You doing a rowboat too?
Yeah, rowboat.
Uh-oh.
Can't drink sand.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? You can't drink salt water either.
It didn't say salt water. It doesn't say salt water.
It does say a big body of water. Good point. Good point. All right, everybody gets another point. All right. Would you rather have your knees facing the opposite direction? I guess so your arms would be, okay. or your elbows facing the opposite direction. Elbows, knees. Probably, I'm going with knees, actually.
Yeah, I want some crazy bird knees too.
I'm going with elbows. I need my legs to be perfection when I walk. When I do that walk of shame.
But then, how are you gonna reach behind yourself to get stuff?
Listen, there are women out here with no arms who are doing just fine.
It's true.
I need to be proper.
You can always just grab people behind you, you know. Gianni, what you think?
I'm sorry, Lizzie. I'm gonna have to go with the knees.
Knees, yes. Let's see. Oh, well, look at that. Elbows wins. So,
Y'all
Lizzie,
gonna be wearing no good shoes. I'ma still have on my Christian Louboutins, my Manolos, my Gucci's.
right, so Lizzie gets the point. All right, the first one to 5. Let's go. All right. Would you rather be smart and have stupid kids, or be stupid and have smart kids? I'll be smart. No offense to my kids.
Wait, can you read it again?
Would you rather be smart and have stupid kids, or be stupid and have smart kids? I saw Kevin Daxton's comment online real quick. He said, you can walk faster with your knees reversed.
Show 'em. Give me the receipts. Give me the receipts.
Like when
ask
the
question at hand. I ain't having no kids, so I'm gonna be smart always.
Robbie?
Yeah, I can't do my kids like that, so I'll take the stupid gene.
Gianni?
I think I would rather have smart kids.
Okay. Looks like smart kids gets the point. Rob B. All right, so Lizzie, Rob B, and a tie.
Yeah, they do.
All right, so we're gonna go to 4 instead of 5. Let's see. We're gonna go first one to 4. Let's go. Would you rather have spider on your face for 10 minutes, or have a snake on your face for 10 minutes?
Snake.
Yay.
Yeah, definitely afraid of spiders. Snake face. Snake
I'm
face.
going with spider, actually. I'm cool with the spider. Cool with the spider. What about you, Gianni?
I'm going with snake.
Snake. Snake wins. Oh, so you're tied still. Oh wait, so Lizzie won? Is that right? The score right?
Yes, Lizzie so far has 4 points, and Rob is behind her, and you're behind
Lizzie
that.
just got the win, so she just won the game. Look at that, Lizzie.
Can we just go back to the videotape where he said I wasn't winning the game?
Thought you were losing. I didn't see the updates yet. Well, congratulations, Lizzie. Good job, Lizzie.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, stick around for a second, Gianni. We're gonna do some shout outs.
Wait, Reuven just posted, why not both? Because you?
All right. Get some shout outs in. All right. Let's start with Lizzie. When you got some shout outs?
To the Washington Nationals. Yes, the World Series started last night. Yes, the Dodgers won the first 8-3. But until this series is over, we are still the World Series champs. So I got my Nationals jersey on, my National sweatshirt on. Whoop, whoop, whoop. DC Rising, Washington Nationals, love y'all.
Who you got, Robbie?
I'm going to give a shout out to Paul Moose-Legault, who chimed in today. Sylvie Devio, a lot of summer representation. It's great to see the locals. To my Canadian or to my American cousins, it's always welcome. It's always wonderful to see you. Mike Winter, love your comments all the time. A lot of fun.
No, you don't.
So
No, you don't. You don't love him. No,
I
you
do.
don't. No, you don't.
I know. He challenges me. He fact checks me. He laughs with me. It's good.
I'm gonna send him your way to drink all your beer, to drink all your liquor.
He's going to have to do some fence jumping.
All right, my shout out goes to my dad, who actually he called me up and he's like, I watch your show all the time. I haven't missed the show. I was like, really? Because he doesn't know how to do the comments yet, so I don't know that he's on. He's like, I haven't missed a single show.
What about daytime? You got a comment,
Gianni? Shout out.
Shout out to my little sister. It's her birthday. And shout out to all the Libras out there.
Oh, a Libra. Oh, so you're a Libra. Awesome.
Yeah, my little sister is.
Oh, you okay? So your sister's a Libra. I just saw a comment from Ernest Cooper. He said, "I listened to TLS with my son driving home from soccer practice. We had a good chat on several of the topics. Thanks, TLS." Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for shout outs. Thank you, Deja, for joining us. We'll see you next show.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, Johnny.
All right, guys. Good show today.
Good show. Fun show.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a fun show.
A lot of fun. All right, so that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. We hope that maybe you learned something, you gained a new perspective, even got something off your chest. Don't forget, you need to like, follow, and subscribe. We need your support at TLS Live Show. If you missed any of today's episode, you'll be able to rewatch as soon as the show ends. Also, check out our clips online on YouTube and Facebook tomorrow for you to share them out. Remember, listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa. You name it, you should be able to find our show. Just search for or ask Alexa or Siri for Truth Lies Shenanigans Podcast. Or simply go to tlsshow.com for more info. And then make sure you join us for our next live show on Sunday, 4 p.m. as Mayor Patrick Woyan will be our guest spotlight to talk about the election, Trump, COVID-19, and the future of the Democratic Party. All right, our winner today is Miss Liz E. Miss Liz E, what is your final thought for the group?
Final thought is we are less than 2 weeks away from the election.
13 days.
If you have not voted, please go out and vote. And I'm encouraging you who to vote for, just vote. Also, there is a debate.
I can encourage you who not to vote for. Sorry to take your final word. Do not vote for Donald Trump. Go ahead.
See these men? We can't let them overtake us. There's a debate tomorrow. Trump, Biden, hard 2.5, kind of. So tune in to this live show. I think we're going to try to maybe do a live stream. We'll see. Hopefully we'll see you, though, on Sunday.
All right, guys. Great show. Thanks for joining us.
Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth, lies, shenanigans. Truth.
Voter suppression has taken many forms.
People have been denied the right to vote for, well, now 80 years.
First, they used the poll tax to keep black folks from voting. Then, it was the literacy test, racial terrorism, and violence.
I don't want everybody to vote.
New day, same old dirty tricks.
There are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting.
Calls for investigations after claims of voter suppression.
President Trump sabotaging efforts to vote by mail.
If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to take it from you. Vote early. Vote like your life depends on it. I'm exercising my right to vote, and you should too. Not because I want you to, but because he doesn't.